So the key with Era is the repetition that you're able to get. You're seeing that on the Fresh Anniversary server. It's not like Eternal is just doing one raid a week, right? These guys are doing multiple iterations over and over. Same with Bricked. Bricked has multiple versions of the raid that they're doing, and that's who we're watching today. Is the Naxx Era on Whitemane. Once every year there's the Firefest, and what that means is you get 3% more crit. In simple terms, you just do more damage. It's the one time a year that you have the most potential to do parses, that kind of stuff. And if Warcraft logs understood this, maybe they'd ban it. That's the cringe type that they are. When you think about it, crit just increases the chance of something happening. With Rec Up, you're over 100% crit most of the time, so it doesn't matter anyways, right? So in a lot of cases, crit just makes it a little bit more favorable. Now, if we get into the nitty and gritty, there can always be people that start doing the different talks of like, oh, well, if you get more crit, then you can change your gear and optimize your gear. Like, all these little things change, which is fun. And it's just a little bit of a different flavor. So some people, they save their DMF buff through June, so they're able to get a good DMF out of it at the end of June. And then they're going to get the Fire Festival buff again at the start of the upcoming July cycle. So it's kind of cool with DMF being the extra damage, with the extra crit. It's just the most buffs. I do think that the DMF flavor is changed a bit since Boons came out. If you played before Boons, you'd know what I mean by that. Back then, you really only got 1 week out of your DMF. Didn't know that's interesting, much not parser, but yeah. So this is the time to shine, and we're about to start. So we're about to be in it. What up, Dims? Hope you're doing well, homie. So they just got their Mighty Rage. So first thing that they're doing is we're now 2 minutes out, roughly. What happens here is they all came back in the game and they're increasing their rage. So at the start, all the warriors are going to have a higher amount of rage to start. It's silly, all the different little things that go into the number one. I think some of these guys don't have DMF. That is something to mention. We're at the end of the month, right? This is June 28th that we're watching this right now. And again, what that means is it's the end of the cycle. We're still weeks out. I think that Bricked is going to send a good Fire Festival run upcoming. So I think this is the second iteration. I didn't do a good job of looking at the past week to see what the successes and failures were. But again, that's the key, right? Is the practices over and over and just getting a couple shots and familiarity. Rosters change over time too. That's something to mention with GDKPs in general, right? You're able to cycle people in and out more when all you're changing is gold between hands. People aren't as worried about what characters they come on. It's a little bit more fluid, which can be good in some ways. As long as you have the right components, the people to do the different tech, as long as you're confident in that, it's pretty simple. Still pretty hyped about yesterday. I want to give a shout out to the gamers in the Friday the Friday daily raid. Big shout out to 0 deaths. A little cheesy how we did it. I'm looking forward to talking about that, but we are now the only group to have 2 deathless runs. And Whitemane has all these different niches, right? These guys are doing speed runs. We're doing a little bit more execution focused. There's a lot of prog runs. Lots of different opportunities on Whitemane to play the game, which I think is pretty cool. So we're getting ready to go here. Like I said, you're going to notice how they all have rage. I don't know, do you want me to put full screen? I feel like, is this better? We don't really need to see the chat as much right now. It's the peanut gallery over in this stream. What we care about is the gameplay. So you'll see he just he's set to go. It's a very clean UI. I really like this guy's UI. I like the group order like this. I think it's important to be able to see groups 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that easily in your UI. As far as buffs go, he's just got Nature Pot pre-popped for the tech that you're going to see after this first pull. Chris didn't have a great opener. Threat was a little bit sus, but now he's fine. Mentioning the main tank there, Chris, that's a lot of the flow. Chris was part of the world record run. Very, very good main tank. So having that level of comfort to start with is something that you want to have for the base of the raid to work off of. Again, like I mentioned, all the different components, right? These guys have just a bunch of different stuff that all comes together. As long as they do their roles right, things turn out well. So you saw Bis Bracers drop there. I won't focus on loot, but already some fat loot dropped, so that's sick to see. Zappering at the start. Chris almost died there, but he didn't, so that's good. Got the bop like half a second late, it looked like. Got down to 30% or so. I'm sure he was in full mid gear. It's an important thing to do when you're doing a big Giga AoE pull like that. Now they're not going to have many potions cooldowns available for here. I think they're just generally cleaving and pumping that stuff down. Getting lots of extra damage and all that trash. It's interesting seeing people all drag forward while that one ad lived for so long. So they are doing an AoE shot here. And now they're going to set up for the second big piece of tech. First big piece was the Giga pull that we just saw. Good pacing so far. Haven't seen anything bad. I feel like this pull lived a little bit longer than I expected, but they're setting up for the pull now. So it's a single paladin that's going in here. The paladin is going to grab all the mobs. Looks like a good pull. They're going in. This is an all-in strat where if this goes wrong, the paladin screws up the pull, it's a wipe. It's something that's not recoverable. So this is the first big... Ooh, rip. First warrior dead. So that's unfortunate. What? 2 people dead. Zerpy, okay. Bricked run. GG's. Not sure what the healers are doing. I guess they got silenced off the bat. But losing Zerpy like that, the run's over. Hate to be negative, but when it comes to breaking number 1, that's just the reality. So that's how quickly it falls apart. Still can see how the run goes. Like I said, I'm sure they're going to do another run. I guess it'd be 2 weeks from now. Because not next week, but the week after is when DMF I think is coming. Anyways, really unfortunate. Zerpy's running back. They sent 1 B-res. And didn't have the other B-res, so yeah, just not really sure how that fell apart besides just no healing going out. I feel like there could have been potential for more dummies going out there. I'd be curious about checking the timing of different cooldowns. They're still moving forward though. Oh no. Oh, okay, good. Not good. So the rogue is doing the Giga pull right now and just died. So they just lost their next piece of tech. They now 100% cannot break their world record. I imagine 19 is in mauled mode, but that's just how it goes. Yep, big L. That's the hardest part. When it comes to individual tech in Naxx and like personal responsibility of making sure that you do your job, the rogue has the biggest responsibility. But did someone just die there too? How did that guy die? I blinked. Okay, we're watching a scuffed run now. This is fun. It's just gotten weird. So this is my time to trash talk the Euros. Maybe we could, I mean at some point we'll see what happens, but yeah, I watched Five Sunders Please, or like a lot of those guys, I should say. I shouldn't say it's Five Sunders Please, but the Euros essentially have melted down into less and less when it comes to a core. And those guys wiped on KT. Roguish and Clickers were having like their best runs ever, and then they wiped on KT. So you never know, right? Like, runs can fall apart really quick. That element of things not going well is, to me, what makes Naxx fun, right? Like, speedruns aren't meant to be super easy, something that everyone can do, because not only is a lot of investment in time and energy, but there is just that element where sometimes things can just go wrong. Like, Naxx just has some RNG in it. And I think the things that have happened here are less RNG based. Maybe the rogue death was a little bit RNG. Again, that pull is just really tough, so sometimes you can just get like kind of screwed. Again, Chris just has Giga Threat always. If you ever watch the threat meter when Chris is tanking, pay attention to his casts. He will teach you how to tank correctly. So one wing down. I didn't see any timer. We should have set a timer at the start. Oh, water maybe. I threw it too. So we'll just have to see. I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen from here on out. I will link Kobe's stream again. They did this pull really early. This is interesting to me. This is kind of different tech. I guess because someone died or something, they just like pulled it early. That was a very, very early pull of that pack. I haven't really seen that before. That's fascinating to me, actually. Maybe the rogue did it? Because the rogue died? I don't know, that was interesting. Normally you do it in between here when you're waiting for your stacks to drop off of these gargoyles that they're about to face. So because they did those A-bombs already, are they just going to keep running? I'm curious. This is, again, a bricked raid at this point. When this kind of stuff happens, the questions become of how much time is lost in just coordination versus lost DPS potential. When you lose world buffs, you do less damage. But when tanks lose world buffs, you lose coordination. You need to plan a little bit differently. Again, you see how Kobe turned around right there? He's used to seeing the A-bombs behind him. It's just like muscle memory. So I think they're just going to keep going here. Yeah, they only have 4 stacks. They're pumping. In the world record run, a little bit of like added tech here is these guys all will just Petri off the stacks once they're out of combat. So just like Petri right now, it was a Giga run, but no one's Petriing off because the run's already borked. Again, that's a little bit of the resource allocation, right? When you already know that it's over, people start using less. And when you're in a speedrun environment and it's all about doing the most, it's kind of counterintuitive. Okay, so will they wipe here? The question is always the decurses with minimum number. They still have 2 more. Okay, they made it easily. They had like 2 seconds. You never know with Naxx. Naxx is that one boss where any raid could wipe because someone DCs and they just aren't able to cover the decurses sometimes. If like 1 or 2 people would waste a global. Technically you could do a full Naxx decurse with only 3 decurses if people were perfect, but it's hard to be perfect. And that's without anyone using a cleanse potion or whatever it's called, because that was always a little bit of tech that was talked about in Naxx, where it was like, oh, just use a potion cooldown, but it's really just not worth the potion cooldown. So they're blasting down those grubs. Killing those grubs is always top priority. So, not much to mention here. I'm trying to think of things to talk about, honestly. This is the little bit of boring part of the run. Not much can go wrong here. Oh, I guess something to talk about is the fact that these guys didn't lip. You see how Kobe used his lip right there? He made it so that if he was targeted by the teleport, he wouldn't have been teleported. That's a little bit of evolved tech that's come up in Era more and more that I didn't see people use beforehand. RIP! But he gets teleported the second. That's unlucky. That's actually tragic. Huh. Hey, it's Feck. Got teleported too, RIP. So this is a pretty cool collective when it comes to the group makeup. There's a lot of different representation here of just regular gamers of the Era community, which I think is cool. It's obviously within the Bricked Discord and Bricked host, but lots of these guys are just general huge Giga gamers on the server that play in a whole bunch of different environments. Like you see some Classic Forever people, just like a lot of different well-known organizations are like off branches of Bricked, part of Era, which I think is really cool. Lotheb, pretty simple fight. They're just blasting it down, 5 people per spore, making sure that no one griefs. Ooh, 7:30 Ren, thanks for the heads up. That is soon, 7 minutes. Go get him. Chris is getting a little low there. They have a minimum number of healers, but when I say minimum, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a fair amount. I've seen some kills where you can have as low as like 2 or 3 or even 1 or 0 if it was a perfect run. Obviously this is not a perfect run anymore, so having 3 or 4 healers would probably be like considered pretty safe. So the fact it's 6 is, again, they are dialing back down a little bit, just making sure this run is a success. 3 squawks though, very stacked. Kobe squawking. So yeah, looking at the overall DPS meters so far, I think if Kobe didn't get teleported, would have been number 1, but pretty competitive there too, where Kenz is keeping up. Kenz is a very good warrior as well. So the top 3 warriors definitely are people that if you want to look at the cast after, you're curious to see just like generally what they're doing. I would look at all 3 of the top warriors right now. I mean, all top 5, all top 10 are all really good warriors, but at the end of the day, the difference between 1 and 5 and 10 at this point comes down to repetition and just knowing where to stand and when to use different cooldowns and RNG. Some things are just a little bit luck based at the end of the day. Interesting to see the D-Flask Giga play. I think it's only like ticking for, oh, is it like big D-Flask? I think I only see like 400. Yeah, 400 ticks. Maybe it's just like weapons and that's it. I think that this is definitely the area to use the D-Flask, where healers are not able to heal. Having that on 15 to 20 people would make a big difference when it comes to this area for safety. They still have their spore buff if you see the debuff. That means that they're always critting. So these mobs are just absolutely melting right now. And Marcy's, or Kobe I should say, is catching up and ahead now in overall DPS. This area of just non-stop cleave is where he's just eaten up. Has very good positioning, always cleaving multiple mobs. That's a little bit of a scary captain. Yikes. Okay, no one died. Some people are far in the front and compared to the people in the back, though. I kind of split up the group a little bit. Sorry, I'm hunching. I'm tired. I lost a little bit of steam knowing that this won't be the #1 run. I was pretty hyped to see it happen. I think that this group can definitely do it. So we'll just have to see in the few upcoming weeks. Yeah, this roster is just giga stacked when it comes to DPS potential. They have lost a couple warriors, but it's still very strong. So this is another piece of tech. They need to press lift before the mobs come around the corner, like now. You see how Coke pressed it a second early? That is smart. Sooner rather than later on that pull is definitely the play. Clean, no one died. So that's like one of the make or break pieces of tech in a lukewarm run. Okay, egg meal went in. That went well. Okay, nice. That start is a little scary where it's one warrior that goes in with a shield wall. Going in for 5 seconds there and allowing the priest to set up makes it so that multiple priests can now taunt and easily get control of mind controls. They're having multiple of these ads all hitting Resuve at once because they do a lot of damage. And having the multiple taunts ensures if one of them drops from a heartbeat or something, they'll be okay. So they're just cycling between them. Ooh, that was scary. When you hear the sound of parries on Resuvius, it sends shivers down the spine. See how quickly that was demo shotted? That was good. I would be very careful cursive wrecking a axe though. I guess they are just absolutely blasting and it's a speedrun environment, but I do think a cursive weakness on the axe is like one of the only mobs in the game that you would ever do that on. Rip, Zerpy dies again. That's unfortunate. Eggmeal dies too? What? They're just like crumbling here. So when you have lower health pools, you just kind of can fall apart. And that was really bad. They are now down to Summer and Chris. Gilbert, I guess, would be the third real tank. But they've lost 2 of their tanks now. It's not good. Got everyone res, they're gonna set up in the room. I'll be interested to see how many gate pulls they do. But yeah, I just want to go back and mention the steed pull. A lot of times when raids start losing steam, the steed pull is when it just gets off the rails. Like 6 or 8 people will get one shot by the steeds. It'll be a slower amount of time that it takes for the steeds to die. It's just a really common area where things go from bad to really terrible. So it's fortunate that that didn't happen, but again, just really weird on those weapons how multiple people died. To me, the only thing I can think of is that paladins aren't healing the tanks. Like, I've just seen Zerpy die a couple times now. That, to me, I just don't really get how that could happen if you're healing the tank. Like, again, like, Zerpy just keeps on almost dying. Yeesh. And maybe it's wrong of me always to blame the healers. I'm not trying to always be that guy that blames the healers, because sometimes it is on the tanks as well, putting on shields and that kind of stuff, using defensives. But sometimes, like, how it feels as a tank is you just die. It's like 99% of the time things happen normally, and that 1% of the time when it just doesn't get heals, it's just like, oh, okay, wasn't expecting that. And that's just kind of what I'm seeing as far as how it looks. This is the scariest part of Gothic with these stacks. They were able to kill it before 4 stacks, so they don't have a whole ton. Still pretty comfortable so far. So normally in a real speedrun, you'd be pulling both sets of the gargoyles, but they already killed one set of the gargoyles because the spider pull failed. Since the rogue pull didn't happen, they had to pull gargoyles and just run up the side. So there's no point in killing extra gargoyles and being more risky. Just doesn't make any sense to do that. So not going to see a whole ton more gate pulls happening, and in general they're just going to be less risky. Thorian went down to 1% there. Wow. Thorian was so close to death. Another set of ghouls coming in. So I'm gonna keep blinking. Scope stream. Big shout out to this guy for blasting right now. Keep in mind, guys, you're getting to watch the #1 DPS point of view in a raid. I think that that's a real fortunate thing to be able to do. You're able to learn from someone like this. I want to really highlight more and more watching others and what they're doing right. I don't want to be that guy that's always complaining and pointing out what people are doing wrong. I want to focus on the good sometimes. You know, sometimes it is fun talking about how silly deaths and that stuff happen, because it's just fun to talk about that, right? But at the same time, being able to see why the best are the best is really valuable. So thankful we get to do that today. Definitely throw him a follow. Already wave 18. I'm gonna get a quick drink of water for 15 seconds. And we're back. Okay, so stay hydrated, boys. Good water check. Yeah, for real. Take care of yourself. Let me know if you guys have any questions. If anyone is curious about anything. I definitely I haven't gotten the chance to give the Armchair Gamer review. I'm just out here feeling comfy, feeling like yapping. I'm not part of this raid. I'm not privy to every little inside secret, tactic, strategy. I'm just talking. But it's fun to talk and share more information about this kind of stuff. So I think it's really cool. They're using rocket boost now to get to the next area. Bad timing with those gargoyles there. The rogue was in stealth, and because the rogue walked in stealth by that gargoyle, it's now gonna pull. So that rogue was just bad. Rip. Not the end of the world, but again, just a lot of little things that waste time, and at this point, DMF is down to 50 minutes right now on this character. So there'll be like 20-30 minutes left on DMF next time. Means it's more just a practice week than anything else. Think about it though, if Naxx could get down to 40 minutes for the best runs, that would mean you could get 3 cycles of DMF out of it instead of 2. Because normally the general thought is like, you know, an hour, you get 2 out of it. If you're able to bring Naxx down to 40 minutes, suddenly whole new possibilities. because that really is where things are headed. With how Bricked was at like 44 minutes previously, and a minute or like a minute and a half was theoretically pretty easy to get shaven off if things were perfect. Suddenly, if you're able to get really good raids each time, 42 minutes. And Blizzard is incompetent and changed how the timing works on phase 1 of KT, so it's just naturally 2 minutes faster. You just naturally save 2 minutes. Zeliek is getting finished off now. They nuke down the first cleave bosses together. After the cleave, the main thing is making sure that Zeliek dies before the tanks die. It's kind of an all-in strat. You see how the mages right now, Magical is still in right now. He's got 5 stacks, he just got out. Yeah, Zeliek just feels like it's taken a little bit to die. They should be able to get it, but yeah, they're good. Nice, so that was good. Clean 4 horsemen. Again, when you have a little bit of a scuffed spider and A-bomb wing, spider and plague wing, then going into Death Knight wing is where things just normally really fall off the rails. So they did a little bit. You saw a couple deaths, losing another tank. That's the most notable thing. A couple DPS, but in general, it didn't fall off the rails completely. They didn't have 10 deaths on 4 horsemen. Gothic pulls didn't go terribly. So it's still a decent run. It's still to the point where a lot of this tech can be practiced, and I would kind of imagine we're still going to see a sap polarity. That's the real question at the end of all the leaking of buffs, is like, do we risk it and have a real big DPS check when it comes to being able to kill Saffron before you die from the polarity? This is the next big piece of tech right here, where they go straight into the monstrosity pull while the mages are in the back trying to finish off the ads. The problem is at least one of these mages have already died, so their DPS potential is a little bit down. Again, this is a time here where if you have a little bit of a tough start of the raid, things really fall apart if you're not able to take care of those ads right there. Lots of runs end right here. Good job, Kobe switched to the totem like the gamer he is. I hope you guys paid attention to that. Surfy almost got one shot right there. So definitely still in blast mode. Things are going pretty well in general. Multiple sledges on the ground always scares me. They're able to kill him though. Good pre-shield on that one mage that almost died right there. They did a good job just absolute blundering all the patrols down. One thing to mention is how it's all belchers, right? They fish this ID to make sure that they don't have wreckers, the mobs that do the knockup. Because right here, if a knockup would happen, you'd lose like 8 people. Like, that's the most dangerous part of this A-bomb wing, is those knockups. That's what always kills us in our raids. So they take the time to fish this ID and make sure that it doesn't have that. Again, just like the pre-pep is a big part of the raid. Alright, so we're almost to Patrick. Patrick, pretty simple boss. I don't see these tanks really ever mess it up. The question just comes down to what is the tank situation here. I'm thinking that they might do solo hatefuls, which is a little bit more risky, but kind of standard. Okay, Chris and Summer, yep, solo hateful. So Summer is going to be taking all the damage on this fight. As long as they keep Summer at highest health, easy peasy. Summer's just got to get topped off constantly. looking easy. So again, you're going to note how Kob here has established just that little bit of a DPS lead. Now 100k more damage overall. And it's just all the little things, right? Over time, having really high uptime, good cooldown management. Ken's is having a good Patrick right now, though. Ken's is catching up a little bit because of this. But still, like, if you have a really good Patrick, it's still only 20k more damage overall. And runs like this, I mean, when it comes down to it, the run is oftentimes established by Thaddeus. Thaddeus is a huge part of overall damage, so if you get lucky and get behind the boss the whole time, and other people get unlucky and are in front of the boss the whole time, then that kind of can decide things right there. But, of course, if everything is perfect on multiple people's cases, then that's where things get real high damage. So they're doing the skip here. This is a skip that I wish I understood better. It's a simple idea. They have someone that runs in and grabs all the mobs and goes into the corner. So that's what one guy does. And then off of that, I think someone else then press spells and have them go through the wall. My understanding. Again, this is the one piece of tech that is just a little bit out of my brain. Kingspan. Okay, but all the paladins are here, right? So you say Kingspan, but I think it's Gauss doing it. I think they're now having like a priest do it with whatever the spell is. Fortitude spam, or probably the spirit spam, because that's easier. I think the new age tech is when you're able to have the priest do it, it's better, because you don't lose the blessing. Yeah, so we could watch Bears run fail it after this, if I have brain power left. Gauss is just running forever. As long as he doesn't get caught, then he's good, and he got away. So what happened and why the Bears run fell apart is the priest got caught. I think. That's my understanding. So one thing to note here is how they lose their hunter, right? So they don't have trank shot for this. This is kind of scary, where you gotta make sure you keep Summer alive. It's a Death Wish warrior with no trank. This boss can hit really hard. Note how Summer never got below like 80% health though, as long as they just absolutely spam him. 19 died though. I don't know if there wasn't enough threat. He shouldn't have died. Got it. Okay. So something weird happened. Yeah, people have been, I wonder if something changed on that poll. Like, people keep talking about how that poll's weird. I just don't totally understand it. Maybe the problem is when you're not doing king spam and you're doing priest spam, it's like not enough threat. I don't know. We could ask Gauss later. I'm sure he'll give us some insight. Looked to me like it was Bonneville that was doing the kite. I think that's interesting how they optimized with having the druid do it so that they don't need any warriors in the back. It is a slight DPS increase. Bonnabelle being the gamer resto druid that knows how to kite, living the horde lifestyle. Where is... Oh, I see. It's right here. Like, I don't think that this DBM is super great. I think having a better way to see what sides to go, I mean, maybe that's fine. That's really tiny. I guess it works. $24 worth of just... Yeah, I mean, they're still going fast. Good point. You do bring up a good point. Like, I'm being so negative how this run has been terrible, but they're still flying. Like, I'm glad you brought me back to reality. That's a good reminder. Okay, he's behind. Let's go. The RNG. That's what you want to see. Chris has good threat too. No need to taunt. Yeah, this is what I'm saying though, where like you almost get a full DMF out of the next week. It's really crazy how Naxx is going. You can do 2 full Naxxes and then you still have DMF. Like, oh rip. Did the tank swap? Oh, nope. Rip. So not perfect RNG when it comes to the swaps here. We'll just have to see which side Ken's is on. Looks like he's climbing a little bit. Yeah, Ken's is having a good Thaddeus. You will note how Kobe is doing it correctly, not trying to be a total rat here. Yeah, Ken's definitely caught up on that fight. Well, so Saf plays a big part too, right? Because you have the polarity for Saf, seeing which side you're on for Saf kind of matters even more than on that when it comes to your DPS potential. So let's see that DPS potential here. Looks like he is on the tank side, so that's rip feck. That's a classic. Unfortunate. So here comes the dummy. They've lost 2 people so far. Oh, Cope's not looking long for this world. No one's healing him. Oh, nice, okay. Clean. Not perfect, but that wasn't a terrible saf. If that was an oil of immolation, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I wonder. I mean, pretty clean, not perfect, but that wasn't bad. They're still flying. Not going to be their fastest run, but this is going to be a very fast run still. It's actually shocking. They held it together. I'm actually shocked. We won't know until this boss is dead. But yeah, very interesting. Unfortunately, they can't run right in, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like 6, 7 seconds lost right there because they lost people earlier on Saf. Not a huge loss in time, but it all adds up, right? That's why this won't be the fastest run, but still be like a 46, 47 minute run probably. Super fast. Imagine if stuff went right in a run like this. So it shows they have the pacing. Pretty good tempo overall. Uh-oh, I don't know why they're pulling 3 A-bombs. That's a little strange. I guess free higher damage. Oh yeah, they're cheesing. This is hilarious. As long as they keep pulling 3 A-bombs like this, they're gonna do higher damage overall. This is hilarious. We'll see if this pays off. They're doing a lot more damage overall because they're able to kill these 3 mobs over and over like this. This is just free damage right now. That's really funny. What a bunch of cheesers. Not really seen Brick do style like this. They're evolving. I guess because it's already a borked run, why not, right? Someone is just gonna screw up on skeletons eventually though. I don't know when, but sometime they're just gonna get like 3 skeleton hits at once. Oh, Kobe isn't there, rip. He missed out some damage there. Yeah, this is very interesting to me. Tons of extra damage because of this strat right here. I'll be interested to see. I'm gonna be real with you, I'm very tired. I don't know if you can tell, I'm just like going lower and lower in my seat. I'm like really struggling. But I'm going to update after this, eventually, do a follow-up video and talk about the how much extra damage this strategy gives you, because it's a lot. They're doing a lot more damage overall because of this. Because if it was 1 mob, that'd be something, but the fact that it's just 3 of these over and over, that's a lot. Endless damage. Because the thing is that you're in combat for all this time, so in a typical phase 1 as a warrior, you're doing some damage. Yeah, fake damage. Agreed. This to me is a little cheese, and something that Warcraft blogs might, I don't know, they'll just make it so that the unstoppable abominations don't count towards overall damage. That's how Warcraft blogs would ruin something like this. Alright, they're blasting. They're death wishing, they're going ham, they're hoping for good RNG here where no mind control happens soon. Hoping no one dies to the Fisher, nice. I can appreciate a clean UI, but on this fight I would really recommend having some sort of way of seeing when the Frost Blast and Mind Control can happen. It's really useful to know that, just in a general sense, so you can like prepare. Because there's different windows where Frost Blast and Mind Control can happen. When you know that, okay, even without knowing it, Koba's really quick to press escape. Frost Blast is available here, so this is risky. Summer has great threat, so as long as they keep Summer alive now, and the whole raid doesn't get Frost Blasted, this is going to be a fast kill. They just gotta top Summer off. Yep, okay, so this is going to be a really fast KT. Oh, there's the blast going out. Rip. Lost 2. Rip Shodan. Alright, well, still pretty solid raid overall. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't know if anyone else has anything to add, but again, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I would like to do more of this kind of like live commentary kind of stuff. Let me know what you think of it. But yeah, till next time, hope you guys have a good night, and that was the run. So, one last time here, gonna go ahead and link the stream. Definitely give them a follow. GG's. Till next time, and peace out.